coach in California, and I could not wait for my first coaching session. I was ready, okay? Now, she didn't really look like this, but that's what I wanted her to look like. She was really a kind woman, and I could not wait for that first session. And I had it at 10 a.m. in Pittsburgh time, 7 a.m. her time, and I was just watching for that phone to ring. When can I talk to my coach? And I said, okay, are you ready? Here's my list. This is what we're gonna do. I need you to hold me accountable. Should do this. I must do this. I need to start doing this. I'm gonna stop doing this. And I talked for about a half an hour, and I want you to hold me accountable, hold me accountable, hold me accountable. We're gonna be different. And she just listened. And she said, you know, Beth, that seems a little extreme. And she pointed out to me that I was raising 2 boys by myself, that they were doing really well, that I had just written my 7th book, that I was about to go on a book tour, that I was making more money than I'd ever made. And I was saying, but I didn't do this, but I didn't do that. But what about this? But what about that? And she just listened. And she said, you know, in California, we do things a little differently. We don't set goals here. Who's ever heard of the one-word movement? Anybody ever heard of it? When she told me about it, it was the first time I had ever heard of it. And it's called the one-word movement. And she said, in California, we don't set goals. We set intentions. I was like, wait, what? Let me write that down. Let me think about this. You don't set goals. She said, we decide who we want to be, and then just make all the rest of the decisions in our life according to that. I like to control things. That is not the way I had planned for that session to go. Anybody else like to control things in the room, right? How do you like to fold a towel? Like, do you have a problem with a towel folding? Let's talk about that later, right? So, isn't this interesting that just about 2 months after having that experience, I'm now having a new experience with somebody who actually says to me, who are you being? Wait, what the hell's this happening? So, who I was being, frantic, reactive, stressed, tired, all the opposite things that I wanted to be when I quit my job as a social worker. I quit my job as a social worker because I didn't want to be exhausted and depleted and depressed and sad and worried all the time. And guess what I was? I was all of that and broke and more tired, right? How did that happen? How did that happen? And so she encouraged me to decide who you want to be. Instead of setting a goal, instead of saying, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds this month, or I want to, instead of saying that, you would say, I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. I want to be active. Women don't work. If I can go backwards, let me see if I can go backwards on this. Yeah. Women aren't designed to work this way. Some women are. They're in the military. They're probably running the military, doing a great job in the military, right? But most of us don't do well with very strict, harsh protocols. That's not the way we were designed. We're designed to be thoughtful, intuitive. That's the way we're designed. Those are our gifts. Okay, so the idea is decide who you want to be. So if you want to lose weight, you decide, I want to be healthy, I want to be fit, I want to be strong, I want to be vital. Those are the words. If you want to succeed in business, I know we have some real estate agents in the room, we have some attorneys and accountants. If you want new clients, you want to be efficient. So a woman can be efficient, or she can do $10,000 in sales. But the being will bring the sales. Have you ever heard that before? Isn't that interesting and fascinating? And guess what? It works. Now, being the person that I am, liking to be in control and doing things my way, I decided that I couldn't pick one word. I had to be 3 words because a year is a long time, right? And so what I learned is that doesn't work. So let me save you some time. If you're gonna pick a word, pick 1 word. Now, a year is a long time, and I do things pretty fast. So I just say, who do I want to be right now? It doesn't have to be January 1st. It can be any time. You don't have to wait till next year or your birthday to make a change like this. Who do I want to be? It took me a really long time to think about this, so I picked 3 words. Oops, I went the wrong way. So I picked 3 words the first year, and that didn't work. I failed pretty badly the first year, but I tried it again the next year. And over the next few years, these are some of the words that I adapted as my one word. Does anybody have any here that they relate to or that they like or really resonate with them? My first one was clarity, like, who do I want to be? Do I want to be a speaker? Do I want to be a publicist? Do I want to be a social worker? I was doing it all. I also thought that that when my kids went to college, that I would be really, really old. And that there would be no more work for me. And I'm so glad to say that's not true. Okay, so I was worried, and so I was trying to do it all at the same time. Well, guess what I learned? You're not old when your kids graduate from college. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And so clarity, like, who do I want to be? See, I almost said, what do I want to do? It's a thought change, right? Who do I want to be? So first I needed some clarity of who I wanted to be. And then next I had to release some things. Y'all, I had to release running the soccer team fundraiser every year. If I wanted to be a speaker and an author that traveled around the world, I wasn't going to be able to do that and keep on running that soccer fundraiser. Okay? What did I have to release? There were some clients that I had to release. It took me a good 3 years to release all the things that were holding me back. Some of them are habits, some of them are thoughts, some of them are actual tasks, right? Then I spent a whole year, more than a year, working on leveraging what I had created, okay? So I started being who I wanted to be, and I stopped setting goals. And this picture is a picture of me last July when I signed the papers for my business becoming officially an LLC. So it works. It works. Being versus doing really works, okay? So here are some one words